Drunk Tank.
Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Truly inspired.
That was very efficient. Did Monty send that
It
in?
must have required a lot of work to get that one pumped out.
Who was that?
Oh, Ratchet, I think he put his name. I don't know if
Ratchet.
that's his username on the website or if that's what his mother named him.
His name is longer than his intro.
Ratchet.
I know, it took you longer to say his name than it did to listen to his song.
His name has as many syllables as the song did.
I just want to remind the audience that participation in the Drunk Tank theme song send-ins, they're not compulsory. You don't have to send it. That feels like something that like he had a deadline that he had to meet for the Drunk Tank send-in, and he decided, oh man, I gotta get this thing out fast.
And it was rated adequate. And now we used it.
Or maybe he set his out point a little too early. Like he was trying to export a little bit of the clip. Or, I don't know.
Send those entries to podcast@roosterteeth.com. And maybe you too can be like Ratchet.
How big a backlog do you have?
It's pretty big. I think that entry was from late July.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Has Jeff mentioned how long of a backlog we have on the Fails of the Week?
No.
We have over 2,000 entries for Fails of the Week.
Why don't you explain what Fails of the Week is, first of all?
Fails of the Week is a Halo series that we do on Achievement Hunter every Friday, where we show about 10 to 12 clips of horrible failures in Halo Reach, and we have people submit them online, and then we go through and pick out our favorites and then post it in a video. And Jeff and I do commentary for it. We're up to week 6, I believe. But anyway, we've had literally over 2,000 entries, which I think means we're good for the next 3 years.
So you're saying people don't send any more in?
I mean, you can. This is going to be a while before we get to them. So.
Do you watch all 2,000 entries, or do you have the audience and the community somehow vet these entries?
No. I go through them all and watch them myself, and then I pick them out. And Jeff, he made it
about it.
No, Jeff made it very clear that he doesn't want to see them because he wants to see them for the first time when we watch the video to do the commentary for it. I think
Wow, that's awesome. I should do that.
He really hid his laziness well, and he had you fooled.
Yeah,
It's all about his process.
exactly.
I just want to point out he does the exact same thing for cleaning the kitchen. He's like, I just don't want to be surprised by the germs.
Oh, what's up?
Didn't Matt set like a very ambitious schedule for everyone to like pitch in and start cleaning the kitchen, which instantly got derailed?
I think
Wait, we had a
you were supposed to create the schedule.
I was?
Yeah,
No one told me that.
I think we determined you were the logistics guy.
What?
You could come up with the best like round robin version of a schedule that had everybody in this office taking out trash.
All right.
Eventually.
You do have a file cabinet.
Guess who has the least amount of times cleaning the kitchen? This guy.
I think today is Jeff Day, which is why he's out sick today.
Yeah, he has a sore throat.
Okay.
is that
I
what it
think
is?
it might be.
Griffin came in and was like, Jeff has a sore throat. He's not coming in today. I was like, oh, poor baby. Does Jeff have a boo-boo?
He thinks he has AIDS.
He does.
He probably does.
Wait, Bernie and I had to convince him yesterday that he didn't have AIDS because he heard something. Was it Bubba the Love Sponge he was listening to?
That's serious then.
It's Dr. Over the Love Sponge. Dr. Love Sponge. We just to kind of set this up, we participated last night in Wootstock, which is in Austin, which is kind of a variety show.
Yeah, it's like a geek variety show. It's like Paul and Storm, who are two musicians, Adam Savage from Mythbusters. Usually it's Will Wheaton participates. He was one of the 4 founders, but he wasn't able to make it yesterday, so they replaced him with Neil Gaiman. And
The author.
Yeah, the author, Neil Gaiman. And a few other people, like some local guys and some, like Step 2 from Microsoft was there.
Molly, the ukulele player.
Yeah, Molly.
We'll get back to it in a second, but basically we had to go downtown, which it was literally, Gus, it was the theater right next door to our old office.
How convenient.
Yeah, the first time that's ever come in handy, we're no longer in that office. So we had to go down for a sound check, and Griffin and Jeff and I went at about, what, was it 3:30?
Yeah, it was pretty early.
And then the show was at 7. So we had a video that we were contributing, which I'll get back to in a second as well. But we had to go down, test to make sure it sounded okay over the speakers, and then we essentially had about 3.5 hours to kill before we had to be back at the theater. And so Griffin and I went to a coffee shop with Jeff, who was sick, and I guess I discovered for the first time that if you give Jeff enough downtime, he will think of the worst possible scenarios for what's wrong with him.
He doesn't get sick often, but when he does, he's like a huge whiner.
Is he a woman? Jesus.
No, that's a guy thing, man. That's women.
no,
Women take sickness a lot better than guys.
I don't know about that.
Have you been sick since you've been married?
Yes, I have. I got sick. Remember, I missed like a week of work. I got super sick
I remember
a
that.
couple months ago. I did not think I had AIDS, though.
You didn't?
No.
Being sick
Never
is the
crossed my
worst.
mind.
Men are also terrible at taking care of sick people.
I was.
I really am terrible
That
at
first day I got really sick. I was still trying to work from home. Like I was taking phone calls. I had a conference call that day. I was like doing stuff for our move into this building.
Brag about it.
And I was on a conference call, and all of a sudden I got super sick, and I was laying in bed. I had to mute my iPhone throw open the back doors to my house and just start throwing up, like in the middle of a conference call. And then the people on the call were like, "Gus, are you there? Are you there?" And I had to unmute it for a second. I was like, "Hold on, 1 second." I remuted it. Then I unmuted. I was like, "Listen, guys, we got to reschedule this. Like, I can't handle this."
Nice.
The best story I ever heard like that, throwing up is great, but there was a guy I know, this is a guy we used to work for, Gus, and he was on a conference call once years and years ago, and there's this big, like, he goes, "Hold on a second," there's a big bang, 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 like something hitting something. And they're like, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, I'm working from home today, and I just had to kill a rattlesnake." He was talking to these guys in New York, and I guess a rattlesnake had crawled up on his patio, and he had to kill it with a hoe. So,
Okay, I was going to ask you if the bangs were shots.
no.
If you shot fucking rattlesnake.
And you know what? If anyone in the world could shoot a snake, it'd be that guy.
That's just like keeping the stereotypes about Texas and people who live in Texas going.
It was so endearing to the people in New York. They're like, this guy killed a rattlesnake on a conference call.
He somehow saved our life.
Yeah.
So you said there was a ukulele player at the thing last night. Was it the same ukulele player who was at PAX?
It was, and I apologize to her for being part of that horrible train wreck of the deal. And so hopefully she took that to heart. Her name is Molly, and she's really funny and great ukulele player. And we were part of this late night talk show for PAX. And I think you guys talked about it once when I wasn't on the podcast.
Yeah, we gave a very brief overview.
You can even, I can feel the rage like building a little bit, because we were asked to be part of this late night podcast, which is essentially in one of these little side halls at PAX, and we were going to be the first guest. It was going to be us. It was going to be this Molly lady, the ukulele player, and then what's the dude's name? The other guy from Dig that's not Kevin Rose, Alex Albrecht. So I don't know how to put this. we kind of did it as a favor to Pork Fry to do it, and you know they needed another guest, so we said sure we'll do it. And it's at the end of the day at PAX when we're already obliterated
too, right?
And everything. And
it wasn't just end of day; it was like midnight.
It was midnight, so we were like hanging around at the convention hall much later than normal. And I just to be clear, we were going to be on the show with Alex Albrecht, and I thought, man, I should really be up to date on my Alex Albrecht information in case we're sitting on stage and I have to talk to him. I don't want to be like, oh, hey, what are you up to? And so I'm backstage, literally like tapping into my iPhone on Wikipedia and reading up on Alex Albrecht, like getting up to date on his, Project Lore, Totally Rad Show, everything he's doing.
Right, you want to have an intelligent discussion with
right,
him.
Because I don't want to be a freaking dickhead in front of an audience. Well, we get out there, and the guys who are doing this thing, boy, I told Jeff, I said, we have two modes. We have funny and we have ugly. And they put us into ugly mode right away because they didn't know our names. They said, come on out, and they didn't even bother.
Not only did they not know our names, they called us by the wrong names.
That
which
is true.
Even worse.
Oh. And all the people who were there to see us are like, what the hell? And so, what they call you guys? Frank?
I think I was Frank.
And I just stood up there and I'm like, who the fuck is Frank? And then we just proceeded, these guys were completely and totally unprepared, so we just decided, what the fuck, let's make lemonade. Yeah. And we kind of destroyed the first segment of the show, which I think a lot of people appreciated because it was this warm-up period beforehand when we were backstage, and it was pretty clear that...
Well, yeah, they had technical problems that lasted for about an hour.
While we're standing there.
While we're standing there waiting.
Hey, you know what you can do when there's technical problems as a host of a show? You can probably read up on your guests. That might be a good idea.
Bust out the iPhone.
Anyways.
If only there was some magical device that fit in your pocket that was connected to a worldwide web of information.
So Molly was on after us, and she salvaged everything, from what I understand. We got out of there pretty quickly after we derailed that.
That was, of course, the PAX thing, not Woodstock, which happened last night.
Yeah, no, Woodstock. It was a very professional event. Everybody understood what they were doing, and they were awesome. Yeah. Paul and Storm, man, they remind me more of the Bare Naked Ladies than any other band that I've ever seen. Part of the Bare Naked Ladies, if you've never seen them in concert, is the fact that they just know each other so well. They just sit up there and riff, and it's half comedy, half music. Yeah. And Paul and Storm were I'd say 75% comedy and 25% music, because their music's very funny too.
What you were saying about being prepared, the Bare Naked Ladies seeing them, they always they talk about stuff local. They go out and explore the town, and they have something to talk about, that relates to people who live there. And Paul and Storm seemed really interactive with the guests and with the audience. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a neat event. It was a lot of fun.
And Steptoad's bit is great. But while we're killing time waiting to, for the show to start, watching Jeff in that coffee shop was pretty damn funny. Because he doesn't even think he just goes straight to AIDS.
So how did it start? Was he just there I don't feel so good?
Here's exactly it. He coughed, so he has AIDS. Pretty much that was it.
I guess he was listening to something where he said it was Bubba the Love Sponge. I've never listened to the show.
They're on Howard 101.
Okay, yeah. So he had heard they had a guest in who was HIV positive and was talking about how he discovered he was HIV positive. I guess he had a sore throat and went into the doctor and got tested and found out he was HIV positive. So Jeff assumed, of course, because his throat is sore, that's the obvious conclusion.
Now that you
makes
mentioned
sense.
it, I guess he was coughing
Not
a
a big
bit in the
jump.
office yesterday.
No, it was pretty funny. They were recording audio. Griffin and Jeff were recording audio for a Fable video. And I was sitting next to him. I wasn't in it. And it was literally Jeff hit record, goes, "Hey, this is Jeff from Achievement Hunter." And immediately died.
Yeah,
And
he
it's
was-
like, stop. We got to re-record that one.
Actually, on all of the videos, he was sort of trying to hold it together, and at the end, he would just
Yeah.
he's just coughing like crazy, and he just cut that off. So on all those 3 videos yesterday, he was just
It was pretty funny.
He had that professionalism, though. Got to fucking soldier through it, power
Yeah.
through.
No, he was fine. He did say fag on stage in front of the entire Paramount
Nice.
audience.
Classy.
I pulled the eject cord pretty quickly after that. I figured we lost 10 to 15% of the audience right then.
God.
We were talking about we're not used to live audience interaction. We're used to YouTube, so
Uh-huh.
we don't really understand audience feedback unless it's completely misspelled or grammatically incorrect.
You have to somehow talk in all caps.
He told the whole audience, he told the entire theater to call him a fag.
Nice.
I was like, "Thank you, good evening."
We're Rooster Teeth. See y'all later.
Yeah, bye. It's great to be here in Austin for the 365th day in a row.
Yeah.
It was fun though. If they had said, we really didn't know what to expect at all. We're video guys, and we kept telling them, look, we're not live stage guys. We do Q&As at PAX, and we're very comfortable with that. But prearranged bits or stuff like that is just not not our thing. We're good in editing.
So, is this Woodstock thing, does it travel? I guess it has,
Yeah, they're in
goes around the
Dallas
country?
today.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I gotta say, I don't want to rate anybody, but someone who had a great time meeting at that event was the guy who draws Foxtrot, Bill Ammond.
Oh, yeah.
He was really cool.
Very cool dude. And I remember reading that comic. I asked him, and he said he'd been drawing it for 22 years. Is that right?
I think that's
So-
what he said. Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm pretty sure I was reading Foxtrot in middle school, and
I checked out his website. It's just foxtrot.com.
I see Gabe from Penny Arcade retweets some of his stuff sometimes, and they have exchanges.
he
through
goes
the
to he
Twitter.
goes to PAX.
Yeah.
So we should. He was a really cool guy, and for some reason I thought I was so stupid. I thought everyone in this show was from Austin. I thought Neil Gaiman was from Austin. I thought Bill Ammon was from Austin. I just didn't get the fact that they flew in for this event. We were the only local guys at the thing, essentially.
That's funny. Out of all of Austin, we were chosen to represent the city.
Not that gets you anything anymore. I mean, I don't know. If you're on the internet, I don't know that being local really matters all that much.
The important people were out voting yesterday, I guess.
I guess so. There was an election or something. Hey, are you going to be doing Achievement Hunter stuff for Connect when that comes out this week?
We've talked about it. We're definitely going to be picking up a Connect, but we'll see how we're going to do Achievement Hunter video.
Yeah, how you do? Is it going to be you jumping around in front of the camera?
I think ultimately that's probably what's going to happen. We're literally going to point the camera at us and then also capture at the same time. I can only imagine nothing but embarrassing videos coming out of that.
Nice.
So.
I'm not doing it. After what you guys did to me on that skate video, I'm not going anywhere near that Connect.
No, that
You
was
talking about when
Tony
you
Hawk.
you were on the skateboard?
Yes.
God, that was
That
one
was
of the funniest
pretty funny.
things.
I ate shit.
I almost died laughing. You can hear me wheezing because I couldn't breathe anymore in the video.
Is that up somewhere for people to see?
It's in my videos on the site.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we should have put it in the link dump.
Yeah.
And on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, I think you blasted that out to all our partners.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you, Jack, for that.
No problem.
I think we bought ad space through Google TV.
Man, but yeah, last night was a lot of fun. Talking with Adam Savage was pretty cool. That was pretty neat because actually I checked my TiVo to make sure I was recording all the election night coverage stuff, and I noticed that in my scheduled recordings was MythBusters, and I was standing literally right next to Adam Savage, and I was like, that's kind of neat, a little surreal.
You were checking your DVR over your phone?
Yeah.
Who do you have service to? Is it?
It's TiVo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, TiVo. I have Time Warner cable, but TiVo DVR.
Yeah, I think
So.
Time Warner's starting to roll that service out for smartphones, and I know AT&T UVerse has that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize TiVo also had that as well.
Yeah, TiVo's had web scheduling for a long time now.
Yeah, but phone.
Yeah.
Is it an app or just through
No,
the
I
website?
did it through the website.
Oh, okay.
So it was easy. I don't know. They probably have an app, but I haven't checked.
If Gus thinks you're at least even the least bit unhappy, I should say, with your Time Warner service, he will jump on you and try to get you to change.
Fucking dump them. I hate Time Warner.
I saw him doing it on Twitter the other day with a
Yeah.
Flash. It's like you wait. You must have an alert.
Like,
if somebody complains about Time Warner, you show up.
I'm not going to get into the whole ordeal, but I I used to live at this other house before I bought my house. I rented a house, right?
Right.
And my Time Warner service was great unless the temperature dropped below 45 degrees or went above 95 degrees.
That's every day except for 2.
Yeah, within
In
that
Austin,
temperature range, everything worked great. But the second that range was, you were out of that range, everything stopped working. And it was just call after call, like, oh, yeah, we're going to send someone out tomorrow. Then, no one shows up. And what happened? Oh, yeah, we're going to escalate to a supervisor. Supervisor will call you right back. No one calls. It's just that same bullshit. And then eventually, 3 weeks later, they send someone out. It's like, oh, yeah, the equipment's bad up on the pole. We're going to have to replace that.
Wow.
It's like,
I will say,
power cycling my fucking modem 20 times isn't going to fix it.
I will say, maybe not on defense, but I had an issue with Time Warner recently where I got home and it was the World Series game and my cable was out, and so I called up Time Warner and it was busy, and I'm like, oh, that's good. So I got on Twitter and I started railing against Time Warner, and almost immediately the Time Warner Twitter account responded to me and said, we have someone in Austin working on it. We know what's going on. We'll have it fixed soon. So that was kind of cool. At least they were able, they were keeping an eye out and seeing that people were upset. They
Right.
actually were like, okay, no, we're trying to fix it. So that was neat.
Heaven forbid they are able to answer the phone.
Yeah.
That actually happened to me, that same kind of thing. And it's one of the cooler things about Twitter, amongst a lot of very uncool things about Twitter, is that I was in Seattle with Joel. We were working on a commercial, and I just tweeted, hey, anybody in Seattle know I've got time for one burger before I got to catch a plane. By Gus, I have now broken 2 million frequent flyer miles.
Congratulations.
On that
You're like
flight.
George Clooney now.
Am I? Yeah, 1/5 of George Clooney in that movie. He had, 10 million
Yeah, he had
miles?
10.
But I said I only have time for one burger. So should I go to Burger Master? Should I go to Five Guys? Or should I go to, what was the other one?
It was like a truck or something.
Oh, no, it was Red Mill. Red Mill up in Seattle, which are good burger places. And then, Gus, you were like every other person on Twitter telling me not to go to Five Guys because you have one in Austin. But that wasn't the point. It's like, where should I go?
Yeah.
And then Eve from Xbox Live, he directed us to Lunchbox Laboratory in Seattle.
That's a great name.
It was amazing. It was, I can't even I'll give you a picture of it. It was the most amazing burger I've ever had in my life. Had like half a pound of bacon on it. It was great. But the weird thing was I commented how no one was voting for Burger Master, and then Burger Master gets involved in the conversation, their Twitter account. And they're like, we agree with you. And I was like, what?
Yes, that was weird.
Yeah, suddenly the restaurant is getting involved in where I'm going to go eat.
That's happened to me in Austin before. Like, I've got this whole Twitter relationship with Mi Madres,
That's
the taco
cool.
place. Yeah.
I Twitter one time that I was looking for some hot chocolate or something downtown, and some coffee shop in Austin Twittered me. They're like, if you come in now, we'll get you half off. And I'm like, wow, shit, that's cool.
It's strange.
One time, I was having a lot of problems with Bank of America, and I was fucking taking it out on them on Twitter, and their Bank of America helps Twitter account replied to try to be helpful. Not helpful. they're great at making it look like they're trying to help, but they didn't do shit.
And how fast is the service if everyone's on Twitter?
And how fucked up is that? I couldn't get someone on the phone to help me. I couldn't get someone go walking into a bank to help me, but I make an angry Twitter about it, and someone replies right away. I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
Why not? It seems really convenient for you. You're on
Yeah, but they
Nation all
didn't
the
do
time.
anything, though. They just make it look, they give a public perception that they're doing something to try to help, but then there's no follow-up. People don't see that lack of follow-up or that lack of satisfaction. It's just a facade. It's all bullshit. Bank of America should go bankrupt. I'm going to do everything I can to help.
You tell me something on Twitter is bullshit? I can't believe that.
Anyway.
Figure if they tweeted you, it's like, come in, we'll help you out. And then, the Bank of America Twitter account goes, having a bad day.
Case of the
Got
Mondays.
a case of the Mondays. Stocks down 2%.
I could really use some coffee. Figure if Facebook worked that way, too, if, you just, change your relationship status to, it's complicated. And then random women from your town would message you and go, I understand you're complicated.
All this mortgage documentation's difficult. I'm just going to sign it without reading it. Anyway. What's up?
Man.
I'm actually pretty happy. With Bank of America right now.
Oh,
They're
yeah?
my bank, and they've given me a bunch of tools, because we have our business accounts there. They've given us and whenever I say something like that, I'm always worried I'm going to say we have a bank account at Bank of America, and I'm going to look as soon as I get on with the podcast where I have $0 in our account. somebody hacked it. That's all it would take to know is that we have an account at Bank of America and we're gone. And we had a problem with that because that Fire Sheep thing came up when I was in Seattle too.
Right.
And we're a little behind the curve on that. Because you and I discovered it probably, 4 days after it came out?
I'd heard about it. I told you I'd heard about it already when you sent me that message.
I know, but I hadn't really, I guess I hadn't read about it, and I guess you don't feel the need to warn us about security issues then when they
Hey,
come
man,
up.
that's on you.
Do you guys know what it is? You know what Fire Sheep is?
I
You do?
skimmed that email.
Oh, because
Yeah, well, I
sent it out.
sent an informative email.
So it's a pretty interesting thing where you can basically put a plug-in Firefox, and the best way to describe it is it's like Napster for hackers, where, you know, when Napster came out, suddenly everybody was a pirate because they could just type in what they wanted in a search bar and they could get it. And it's that same kind of thing where you can just put a plug-in on Firefox, get on the network, it's Starbucks, the Wi-Fi network, and you can just start pulling up people's accounts who are logged in through the same Wi-Fi network. And take over
a
their
variety
accounts.
of different websites.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to have had a major impact.
I think it has. Maybe not for us. We don't go around using these public hotspots as much. It's easily, you know, it's not as bad as the initial reaction may have been to it, because you have to be connected to a Wi-Fi network that has no WEP or WPA key, which is, you know, like most places in the public. You go to a coffee shop, there's not going to be a key. But if you're using it at home or at work, it's not a big deal. Not an issue. Or if you use, you know, VPN when you're out and about, you're still fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, for most people who aren't, you know, aware of it, I'm sure it's a big deal, and they'll get their shit hijacked.
Does that affect like phones and stuff too? Like if I was on my iPhone at a really? So
if you're using your browser,
so they could just go. Well, yeah, I guess so. Okay.
I mean, it's all web traffic.
Yeah,
it's not, you know, dictated by the browser.
Should be clear. It affects your your phone if you're connected to the Wi-Fi network there.
Right.
They obviously can't get on the cellular network and do that, right?
Right. Unless they're at like the demarcation point at the phone company.
Right.
In which case, you've got other problems if there's someone there sniffing your traffic.
To clarify, it's just web traffic stuff. So it's not like if you're connected to a Wi-Fi network, it's like in your pocket, you didn't realize it. They can't pull up your address book or anything like that.
I mean, it depends. If you had like a Facebook page that refreshed, I guess.
Yeah, or if you have like your contacts.
But I'm saying
Facebook.
Like, outside of Safari on my iPhone.
Oh, no.
Like they can't go through and pull stuff from my address book or whatever. Okay. No.
Well, let's be clear. Somebody probably can.
Yeah.
With Fire
not
Sheep,
with
no.
this.
No, but with this little easy, like, click a button and you're a hacker tool, no.
Did you see there was okay, I guess if it's my job to warn of security exploits, did you see there was another exploit that can be performed on an iPhone? If you have a locked iPhone in your hand and you don't know the code, you can trick it into unlocking the address book and into making phone calls.
Oh, yeah?
I think I've seen
I don't
something
remember
like
the exact procedure, but it's something like you hit the emergency phone call button, enter gibberish, then as it's trying to dial, you lock it and unlock it real fast, and then it pulls up the contact list.
So I can steal someone's phone and call all their friends?
Or get their all the contacts that they have.
But the iPhone's does the iPhone have the standard feature, or do I have it through MobileMe where you can wipe it remotely?
That's MobileMe.
Yeah,
MobileMe. That's pretty. It's $99 a year, and at first MobileMe just seems like a service you should just have anyway. But it comes with lots of cool stuff, like you can track your phone, and like when you lose your phone, you can just pull it up on Google Maps and see exactly where your phone is.
Brandon had to do that when he lost his phone.
He put it on top of his car
and drove off, and he found the exact intersection of where it was crushed.
It was still transmitting crushed?
No, I think it was transmitting up to the point where it got crushed, and it had like last known location, and it was still there.
My phone, actually, I got MobileMe after my phone was stolen from a bar.
Yeah.
That sucked.
How'd your phone get stolen from a bar?
Were
you working for Apple with a prototype?
No, I just set it down on. I had it like I had this corner to myself, sort of with my friend. We were playing pool, and the corner was empty. And I just set it on the table for like 2 seconds and turned around to take a shot. And then I turned back and it was gone. And then I made everyone in the bar empty their pockets until the owners asked me to leave.
Did you really?
Yeah, and they were not helpful at all. I was like, listen, I had 400 pictures of my daughter on there. Like I cried and I flipped out, and they were just like, you're making the guests uncomfortable. So now I never go back there.
Maybe the guest was making you uncomfortable by stealing your phone.
Right, that's what I said. So I don't go there anymore. And all my friends who want to go there and hang out, I tell them they can't. So.
Oh, wow.
It's Liberty. Don't go to Liberty.
Okay.
I was going to ask if you wanted to disparage them.
What's Liberty? Liberty Lunch?
No, Liberty. It's this like
Lunch.
punk kind of bar on East 6th Street. And they have like I think they have, is it Uchi? They have put in like a little trailer in the back. Gus, do you know?
No, I don't know what the trailer is.
They have a trailer for Uchi in the back?
Like,
Uchi's a sushi place.
No, it is, but Uchi's like kind of branching out. Like they've got Uchiko, and I think they've got like a little trailer now that's like more bar foodie kind of stuff. I don't know, because not everyone can eat it like Uchi because it's pretty expensive.
That's one of 4th in
sushi.
Colorado, right?
Sushi out of a trailer. Would you eat that?
Yeah, but they do.
No,
I would
Uchi's
eat
on South
sushi in a
Lamar,
restaurant.
kind of across from Draft House.
This is what I heard from Jeff. So it may not be Uchi, but I feel like it was like, or at least the people that own Uchi opened up a trailer or something behind this bar. Not that you should go there or even be interested in this.
I don't know if Jeff would recall it. HIV really affects your memory. I like that in 2 weeks we've taken Jeff and turned him into somebody who's bad in bed and has HIV.
He's not. I never said he was bad.
Is there a correlation?
He's
Is
bad
a
in bed
scientific question.
and irresponsible. That's awesome.
Oh God.
So you got one of those new MacBook Airs, Bernie. How you liking it?
I like it a lot. I lost a laptop. It was stolen in a bar, and maybe people turned out their pockets. And they had no notebook in their pockets. But I had a laptop stolen from me. I had a rash of like stealings. It stinks.
Yeah.
Jack, you went through that whole thing, and then I had a laptop stolen from me, and that was like about 8 months ago or something like that. And I said I'm gonna go without a laptop because I kind of have tethered to my laptop too much. And
It was an ambitious experiment.
it was, and it worked for a while, but I just found at home I needed a laptop every now and then. And as now a Mac person, which I guess that I am, I've learned when you want something, don't buy it. Wait until they have one of their show 'em off shows, and then buy it then. So I bought the MacBook Air day one that it came out, because I've been waiting to buy a laptop. And I like it. I got the 13-inch one. It's quiet. Here, listen. You can't hear it. And it's light, and I just use it for web and screenwriting. So.
You haven't had any trouble with it because I see some people are reporting like hardware trouble with it with their MacBook Airs.
They're complainers, in my opinion.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I have a thing where when I have a product, I'm not one of those people that's like just talks about how great it is. There's a lot of people get defensive. Like if they own something, if something, I will complain about something.
No, you will complain. Like
don't buy this. Don't buy this.
You will complain very loudly.
Yeah, but on this one, I'd say my biggest complaint about it is the fact that the keyboard's not backlit, and every other Mac notebook, the keyboard's backlit. And it's surprising how much I miss that.
That is kind of surprising.
Yeah, surprising that I miss it, or surprising they don't have it.
It's surprising that you miss it. Like I can't imagine. Like, well, you also you hunt and peck with your fingers, right?
I do.
Do you?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I've probably written in the last 8 years, like 2,500 pages of script. I wouldn't even know. I'd have to count it up. But yeah, I type with 4 fingers total.
That's crazy.
The index finger and the middle finger on either hand.
That's got to drive you crazy.
A little bit.
Why don't you just learn how to type?
I don't know. I just never learned how to type. I have a degree in CS, and I'm a screenwriter. I mean, I can't imagine a skill that would come in more handy for someone like that.
No, I remember like
than typing.
I remember the day I spotted you doing that. I was like, "Is that a joke?" And I was like, "No, that's how you type."
Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
it's pretty
The
nutty.
most useful class I took in high school was a fucking typing class.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like a middle school.
You were shortening your life, Bernie, with stress.
I probably am, but I don't know what to say. I never took typing in class. I mean, in high school, it was just
Think how
it was
much
literally typewriters.
Yeah, I used fucking typewriters.
Wow.
Oh God.
We had like these Casio-looking keyboards that they had a little LCD screen on the very top. It was like one line.
Yeah.
And you would type into that. It would like letters would come out and you have to hit them as they scrolled across.
Mm-hmm.
I had a computer with a keyboard because I'm really young. Can totally relate to anyone listening.
I learned on IBM Selectrix. Those fucking stereotypical typewriters that you always see with that like little wheel of letters.
Oh, cool. Like MTV News.
Don't fucking patronize me.
I just learned that you can change the Xbox Live keyboard to a QWERTY layout if you want to. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that you could do that.
I just use the chat pad all the time, so I guess I don't.
Yeah, there's English
pay
and English
attention.
QWERTY on your selection.
So
tab.
I can I can type as fast with my thumbs on a chat pad or on an iPhone as fast as I can type on a regular keyboard. There's something wrong with that, right?
I installed that new Xbox dashboard update the other day, and it's anecdotal, but I think it really helped my load times in Fallout New Vegas.
How is that?
I have no idea because my load times were fucking terrible. And,
Because his load times were like a joke. It was
like I showed Jack, he couldn't believe it.
No, it was shocking. It was
Like I would go through a door and I would literally load for 4 or 5 minutes. Every door, 4
Really?
or 5 minutes. And I feel like my load times have been quartered by, I don't know if it's the update. Just around the same time I installed the update, my load times are mysteriously now a quarter of what they were before.
Did you just avoid doors for a while?
Yeah, like anytime, like there was one person in particular I'd have to visit at Hoover Dam, and I knew she was behind 4 doors. I'd be like, oh, fuck. I tried to do as many quests as I could to turn them all in at once. That way I could minimize the amount of times I had to go through those doors.
Yeah,
It's fucking
there's a
worst.
lot of doors in Fallout too. You hit the strip, and it's just like, oh, you have to go through this gate, and this gate.
Yep.
Now go upstairs. Like, motherfucker.
But no, I feel much better. I'm actually enjoying the game again now.
Yeah.
So I've read a lot of things about Fallout New Vegas, and not all of them are positive. You are enjoying the game. Bottom line.
I'm enjoying the game, asterisk. That game is fucking buggy. I encountered a bug last night where, like, I have this gun that I got for pre-ordering the game at GameStop. It's a weathered 10mm pistol. And I've been using this gun a lot throughout the game, and last night I found a mod for it. It's a laser sight. And I was like, oh, great, this will help me, this will help the weapon be even better so I can continue to use it. So I put the laser sight on the gun, and I go back to playing the game, and suddenly everything looks like I'm looking at it through a red filter. It's like, what the fuck's going on? I put my gun down, and it goes away. And I was like, well, that's weird. I bring the gun back up, and there's a red filter. So I switch to third-person perspective, and there's a giant red square on me with a white exclamation mark in it because no one modeled that gun with that mod on it.
Really?
Yeah, so anytime I use that gun now, I have to look at everything through a red haze.
Weird.
And there's no way you can unmod the gun, so I can't fix it. I can't take that mod off to use my gun regularly anymore.
Wow, that's crazy.
You don't have a save or anything you can jump back to?
I guess I could, but I don't want to lose that time.
Yeah.
Do you have the game here with you today?
No, I meant to bring it in.
Oh,
I've,
too
I've
bad.
got,
You
I've got
could've-
a copy if you have your gamer tag here.
No, I meant to bring both in so I could show you how much quicker my load times were, and I forgot them both on my fucking table.
Nice.
And I'm not going to pretend like I understand a lot of everything about game development, but from what I understand, like models are one of the hardest things to update. That for whatever reason, like you can't add a new character into, say, like Left 4 Dead. You know, they can't update Halo with new armor sets. You know, that would have been an obvious thing, right? They could just like, over the life of Halo 3, sold DLC packs for different armor or whatever.
Didn't Mass Effect 2 have a DLC with Zaid?
They have different costumes that you can get for those characters.
No, but wasn't he a DLC character altogether?
I think he was a pre-order guy
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then.
that you could get him.
Yeah, he didn't, and then he didn't have very much dialogue.
Yeah.
As much dialogue as the other guy.
Now, I'm not saying they can't preload stuff in there and unlock it, but I'm not saying if they just don't have a system for doing it,
Right.
like that might be something that never gets fixed in the game.
Right.
But then you have something like Undead Nightmare, where there's loads of new stuff in that game, right? Like that wasn't all just reskin stuff, was it?
How big is the download for Undead Nightmare, though? Isn't it like 4 gigs or
Yeah.
2
Is it?
gigs? It's huge.
That's the DLC for Red Dead
Oh, man.
Redemption, right?
I got
pretty cool.
I got screwed. I was telling Jack about this last night.
This is great.
So I have been playing Red Dead, leading up to Undead Nightmare coming out, and from everything that I've read, Undead Nightmare might be the best DLC ever put out for any game ever.
The Rockstar DLC is always amazing. Like the Ballad of Gay Tony and what was the one, not Angels and Demons. What was the name of the motorcycle one?
I don't know, but it was a Hell's Angels kind of thing.
Yeah, that was great too.
Lost in the Damned.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
anyway, so this Undead Nightmare comes out, and I had downloaded the 3 previous DLCs for Red Dead, and I was working my way through them on achievements. I determined that that's my latest 100% quest is Red Dead Redemption, and I'm fairly close. Anyway, so they put out this pack, and I saw Undead Nightmare Collection Pack. So I said, okay, I'll buy it. Okay, wow, 1,600 points. Okay, I'll buy it. So I bought it, and then it starts to download as 2 gigs, and I was like, that's amazing. Wow. I'll go, now I don't feel so bad for spending 1,600 points for DLC because it's 2 gigs. That's what does that translate to? $20? Yeah, 1,600
something like that,
points is
yeah.
about $20. So for those of you who don't live in the Microsoft
You don't speak
currency
points.
world. And then I come to realize I bought a bundle where it's the Undead Nightmare DLC and it's all the previous DLC bundled together
Okay.
for an extra price. I was like, damn it! So I double paid for my other DLC that I was downloading and giving myself a longer download. And I discovered this when I got home. And I saw, there's 2 items on the DLC list. When they put that featured thing up, it takes up all the real estate. So you don't see the other stuff underneath it. And when you see Undead Nightmare,
Like, oh,
I don't
that's
go
the one.
hunting for a
Yeah.
different version of
Yeah.
it. So then I saw this other one that was like, I think 1,200 points. And it didn't have the other stuff. So I was like, damn it. I go, well, at least I can download that and just download the Undead component here at home since I downloaded everything at the office. So I just hit the button and then I hit confirm download it. I bought the Undead again. So I ended up paying like 3,800 points altogether. I think I basically rebought
You
Red
rebought the
Dead.
game. Jesus.
So I did that in the stupidest possible way.
I don't know. Maybe that's to show some love for Rockstar for including something you created in the game, the Chupa Thingy achievement.
Oh yeah, well I think that's a secret achievement. So spoiler alert. But there's a Chupa Thingy achievement in Red Dead.
Yeah, I think we briefly mentioned it last
Yeah,
week.
it's
we
been
tried
out,
to
it's
talk
been
around
out
it.
for a while. Whatever.
It's been out
You
for
just
10
blundered
days.
right into it.
I stumbled into it. No big deal.
Speaking of Halloween stuff, anybody see The Walking Dead on AMC?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay. Well,
you?
I heard good things.
I watched it just last night in preparation to be able to talk about it in the podcast. So I watch AMC because I watch Mad Men, which Griffin, when are you guys going to get around to watching Mad Men?
As soon as we are back in our house, I think.
Oh, yeah, because you guys are out of your house now.
Yeah.
You guys decided
They're
to
at the hospice.
AIDS quarantine.
They're living at the free clinic.
No, we're renting. Oh, sorry, running into the thing. We're renting a house right now because for our floors, we had a big hole in our floor because we took out our fake fireplace, and there was no hardwood there. So to get it patched, it was such a small space that they kind of like a minimum of square footage. So we decided just to get the floors refinished since it's something we've been wanting to do for a while. And the varnish is totally gone, so the wood is starting to get damaged. So we had to get everything out of our house over the weekend and move out.
Wow.
So that's where we're at this week.
So
That sucks.
Did you rent a storage unit, or is it all
No,
cramming.
we just don't. Actually, we've been like slimming down. We don't really have that much stuff.
That's good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not bad. And actually, when we took everything out and we had like one night we were just hanging out with like cushions on the floor with like a television setup, I didn't mind it. Like I like having furniture with backs, that's nice, but I kind of like just having empty space and not having just a ton of crap everywhere.
Spartan lifestyle.
Yeah, well, we got rid of a lot of stuff, which is good. It's nice to be forced to get rid of things.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of things I don't think we'll make it back in the house because the floors will be really nice and
Like
our
Jeff?
furniture, our furniture will just look worse against
So
it.
that's like the hidden cost of updating your floors is
God.
having to replace all your furniture.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
even think we replace it. I say we just get rid of it. No furniture.
Well, I know why Gus is saying that because Jeff was walking around complaining about that when you were in the other room the other day. He's like, there's a hidden cost to moving your stuff out of your house. You end up getting rid of it. You got to replace all your stuff with new stuff. So I think he's convinced that you're going to be at the furniture store buying all new stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to buy stuff. Whatever.
Well, it's like when we moved into the new office. Jeff and I both got new desks, and
Well,
like you don't want to. You kind of want to start fresh.
I was okay with just big pillows in the living room for a long time. Like we had a couple of bean bags from Craigslist, and all I heard was like people complaining. And like the moment we got rid of one big one, like everyone was like, "Oh, this is so much better. Finally, you have grown up furniture." So if it weren't for the judgment of others, I would be totally okay with just some pillows on the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, friends are great when you make an improvement to something. They go, "Oh, thank God."
I know. It's like then everything comes out. It's like I had no idea you hated everything about our house up until now.
Just most things.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Yeah.
And Jack, part of the reason why we got new desks was the fact that you and I were taking a golf club and putting holes in Jeff's desk
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
every day for the last month we were in the old office.
I tried writing my name in it, but
Using the golf club?
Using the golf club.
The worst thing was
I
like
got a J, and then it just fell apart.
you guys thought you were about to move out, and then it ended up taking like a month longer. So he was trying to like use this. He couldn't use his mouse because there were too many like holes. Like his
Yeah.
mouse would just like sink into it.
See, Jack took it too far. I was doing one dent a day, one big hole/dent per day to slowly dent his desk, and maybe he'd think he was going crazy. Like, that's a new dent. And I was putting them like where his keyboard goes, but specifically where his mouse would
like
go.
you need to increase Jeff's paranoia of things.
I would use syringes on his desk. That
God.
But and then also, I mean, we were in that office for 3.5 years, and we had IKEA desks that essentially cost $100 or 120
Something
bucks
like
each. If we get $30 a year per everyone's desk, I think that's, as a business decision, it's okay to get new desks when you move to a new place.
I'm still using that desk. This is my desk.
You are still using your old desk.
Keeping it real.
You and Joel's office.
Joel is
looks
not
like-
a fan of change. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know if you know that or not.
Joel's
Virgo.
corner in the old office. It looked like someone just uprooted it, lifted it off the ground, and set it down in his new office. It's identical to what it was before. Even the fish is there.
Yeah, I mean he's got his method. He's got his system down for how he wants to work, and you don't fuck with that system.
Man.
Well, everyone has their own process.
Yeah.
Brandon and Joel are spending a week in Seattle together, so it'll be interesting when they come back.
How romantic.
Yeah, they're spending a week together on a romantic vacation.
Joel's such a huge Rangers fan, and the Rangers finally go to the World Series, and he didn't even have a chance to go to any of the games because he was out of town the whole time.
Yeah.
Matt and I actually made the offer to take Joel to the Monday night game,
Oh,
and
that'd
we
been
were
rough.
so fortunate because that was the game that they lost the World Series.
Yeah.
So we kind of dodged a bullet.
There's nothing worse than watching the opposing team like dogpile on the pitcher's mound in your stadium. After they won, it's like, God damn it.
I must be a weird sports fan because if my team makes it to the championship, it's almost like, yeah, it'd be great if they win, and it's really cool when they win, but I don't really have that. Like, I don't feel really bad if they lose the championship game. I think a lot of people feel like that with the Rangers because they beat the Yankees.
Yeah, I think that was, the fact that the Rangers had never won a playoff game ever in the 50 years of existence.
They never won a playoff game?
No.
Never. They've been swept the two previous times they made it to the playoffs.
Wow, that's a dubious record.
By the Yankees, as a matter of fact. So the fact they won their division, then they won the ALCS, like that was pretty cool. But making it to the World Series first time they ever made it, and then they lost in 5 games. But
Not to switch sports on y'all, but I don't believe you. Do you remember that when we went to the Alamo and we made you made a big deal of like UT playing?
I was just going to use this as an example. I don't think I was that upset with Texas
I don't-
lost
I don't-
Alabama.
whatever.
I don't think he was that upset either.
Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, it was. I wish the game, the final score had been more indicative of how close that
it was
game
a
was.
very, very close.
I mean, there was a point in time in the fourth quarter where everyone's standing up. It's like we could really pull this thing out. But yeah, I mean,
Talking about the UT versus Alabama game last year, we rented out a theater here in Austin to watch it with 200 of our closest friends. So. And then Jeff and Griffin were the only Alabama fans.
I'm not a fan. I just married a fan. Like
Okay.
I don't care at all.
You're half a fan then. You own half of his fandom.
Like if we ever get divorced, I'm taking half of
Yeah,
it.
you get half of that fandom.
Did you ever dream growing up you're going to marry a guy from Alabama? Like that'd be
No, and I never expected to end up in Texas. No, it's your life goes in a different direction than you expect.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It is weird.
I know. I expected when I was a little kid. I expected we'd be recording this podcast on the moon by now. Still on stupid Earth.
Millie's actually she really wants a space room, and she was talking today about how she wants to do like a castle on the moon space room. So I'm gonna have to figure that out.
That's cool.
But she keeps asking why, like when we're getting like it's weird. I didn't even know that she knew about like the idea of space stations, but she's really interested in it. Maybe she saw a cartoon with one or something.
Kids always get into space.
Yeah, but she's
It's
just
weird.
like, why are there space stations on the moon yet? Like, when is that happening? Like, she's pretty impatient about it.
You
So.
should have her write a letter to her politicians,
Yeah.
her congressmen.
So
I think stuff like that is cyclical. I think that people get into things and then they come back around because the younger people haven't experienced them.
Yeah.
The only thing that hasn't been around in a while, it seems like, if Knights haven't been big in a long
like
time.
medieval times.
Like the
and all
King
that.
Arthur stuff. It just that seemed like that would come around like every 10 or 15 years.
Well, there's a new Gulliver's Travels movie coming out with Jack Black. Looks
Oh,
terrible.
God,
Oh,
really?
God. Oh,
Looks
God.
so
That doesn't
bad.
sound good.
But it's like-
Gulliver's
it's
Travels with Jack Black.
yeah, Jack Black's like he's Gulliver, and it's like a modern recreation of it. They released a trailer for it yesterday, and it looks terrible.
Is Ben Stiller the leader of the Lilliputians?
No, it's who was the British dude from
Russell Brand.
Not Russell Brand. From crap. What was the movie with Ben
Peter
Stiller and Tropic Thunder? He was the director who blew up.
Oh, I know the guy, but he looks like a cross between Russell Brand and Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in
Can't
it.
think of his
And
name
then
now.
Jason Segel's in it. I want to say Kristen Wiig.
He was also in Night at the Museum. Wasn't he the Roman soldier?
Yeah. Him and Ben Stiller or Owen Wilson were like the tag team partners or whatever.
Oh man, yeah, this is a stellar cast.
Yeah, the trailer was pretty upsetting. But
Speaking of recreations, there's one, a Sherlock Holmes like remake or whatever, like a modern Sherlock Holmes. I forgot the name of it.
oh really?
But it's like a British show, and it's got Martin Freeman from the
yeah.
British Office.
Yeah.
And we watched this one episode, like that was all that was available on either Zune or Netflix. I'm not sure which. I think it was Zune. It was actually pretty good, and I could totally get sucked in if I wasn't committed to getting sucked into Mad Men soon.
Well, Martin Freeman is he's the new Hobbit, right?
Yeah, I think, were you telling me that yesterday? Or was that you?
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy from Hitchhikers and The Office, the original
Office.
Office. Yeah.
Jim or Tim.
Tim.
From the British Office.
There was a very big hubbub too recently because
Him and Dawn.
Jack, maybe you can explain this and understand it better than I do, but they green-lit or green-lighted, however you say that, production for The Hobbit. But there was a problem in that they weren't going to film it in New Zealand because of some kind of union thing. Do you understand what happened down there?
I'm not sure. They were talking about moving it to Australia, I think.
Right, they were.
And then all the New Zealand crews just got super pissed off, and they were going to boycott the movie. Like, all the people who are going to work on it were just going to be like, nope, sorry, we're not going to work on it anymore. And then it was just a huge back and forth. I'm not sure what happened. But ultimately it came down to they're going to shoot in New Zealand again.
Well, they had already started building the Shire, right? At that point,
I guess.
So they still have it.
they still have it.
Well,
I thought they burnt it though, like for the
No, goats live in it now.
goats.
Yeah,
That's
did you not
awesome.
see those photos?
I don't
Like
think so.
the farm they used to shoot all the Hobbit stuff. All the houses and stuff were still there. They're just there was cutouts, but now it's just these hills that have holes in them, and like goats like live inside the holes.
They're going to be pissed when they have to get kicked out from production.
I think that you for a crew like boycotting or saying they're not going to work. I mean, for that franchise, it really is dependent on all the artisans. 'Cause
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
so
Well,
specific
you also
to
want
the
to keep
craft.
that same sort of feel
Yeah,
from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
You don't want to reinvent the wheel. These people already have experience with
Yeah.
that kind of world and building that kind of stuff.
Well, and the
How
fact-
about this? How about they made a movie that made like $2 billion as a franchise? Don't fuck with them. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Let them do it again right.
Yeah,
So you're gonna get 2 more movies out of the process.
Yeah.
You think it's gonna be right? 2 movies, The Hobbit.
I think so. I think they broke it down into 2.
It's great.
So,
But the same thing when he was talking about the Shire, like that was taken over by goats. There was a similar thing with somebody found the Skywalker Ranch in the Tunisian desert,
Oh wow.
and it was taken over by nomads. Like people were living,
oh, weird.
and this was
Sand people?
This was the original. Yeah, this was the original. You're racist. That was it was the original one, not the one that they made for the prequels.
Right.
Like, somebody went and found it. I think in the '90s they found
That's
the.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess it was
But, like nomads,
the
are
Uncle
like,
Owens.
Owen and Baru's
Yeah.
Like
house?
a nomadic culture or just like squatters? Like, do you know?
I really don't know.
Or are they nomads or glorified squatters?
Man. So we were talking about space and stuff. I went to the National Air and Space Museum when I was in Washington, D.C. this past week. That was pretty cool, man. Like seeing the Wright brothers plane, the actual first plane and everything. Like, have you guys ever been to the Smithsonian?
Yeah,
up
I've been there.
Up in D.C.?
Yeah.
It's cool. They had Spaceship One, the first private spaceship to go in space.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
They had that like hung now and everything, and I touched a moon rock.
They're getting pretty close, aren't they? Virgin Galactic, they're getting pretty close to starting commercial service.
Are they?
I think like another year,
That's awesome.
something like that.
Yeah. So maybe we will be on the moon hopefully soon.
Well,
Tell Millie to start saving.
we won't.
for
We
a
won't be able to
ticket.
afford it, but
That's true.
somebody will.
Well, when was the last time someone put foot on the moon? Was it the 70s?
Oh, yeah, had to have been the 70s.
And also, this may be a dumb question, but is the United States the only country that's been on the moon?
Yes.
Okay.
China currently has
Asterisk.
plans to go visit the moon.
Okay. I thought that
We were in
was the
some,
case.
what was it, like some studio in New Mexico or something where they.
Yeah.
Have you seen all that stuff? Have you seen like all the conspiracy stuff that we didn't land on the moon?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a Jonathan Frakes documentary once I saw on Fox.
The last time
Like,
someone was on the moon was December 11th, 1972.
Wow. God, so
See,
there's only a 3-year span of moonwalking?
See, that's the thing. Like, okay, this is the only reason why I think that like the conspiracy. But like, if you went and you landed on the moon a couple of times, what is keeping us from being there more?
Because we learned there's nothing there.
What
But they
benefit
just
do you
found
get? It's just
ice
a,
or whatever, right?
Wow! I've got
I've got ice in my fucking freezer. Give me $2 billion.
It's in our kitchen.
Space
It's
oil.
space ice.
No one's broadcasting that to the world. Gus finding ice in the freezer.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a big space enthusiast and everything, but you can throw a lot of money at that for very little return.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't know. Space travel has the things that people are working on right now with the microcosm, essentially, where they're doing particle physics. I think that has a lot more straight up application in our life. It's kind of hard to figure out, you know, aside from blocking meteors and then eventually expansion to other planets, what we're going to do in space. Space seems very scientific, but really, what are you going to do?
So, but it's that whole idea of, I don't know, like the thing that kind of sucks. This is something that Jeff and I were talking about recently because we were talking about Bigfoot. It's been coming up a lot lately. And the reason that Jeff doesn't believe in Bigfoot.
Straight from science to Bigfoot. Great. There we go.
The reason he doesn't believe in Bigfoot or anything fun is Google Earth. Because
Anything fun.
if you look at like the iPad's actually great if you look at Google Earth and you can zoom in and look at everything. You know, you can pretty much just see the
Everything
entire world.
from one snapshot for 1 millisecond.
He knows it's not live updated, right? Like if he walks out in the street, it's not going to show him walking down the street.
No. I know that, but he's like
Google
don't
Earth,
you- his,
Google Street View shows that I don't own my house. Is that correct? You know,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
We're
because
also still on Congress.
I still want to believe in Bigfoot. But anyway, but he's just like, if Bigfoot existed, don't you think Google Earth would have found him?
that's so
And like
stupid.
that is.
But anyway, like I think that people want to have like a mystery and discovery.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny we were talking about space travel. I'm going to take it back here a second. I read this article on MSNBC the other day that I guess NASA Ames Research Center is starting this project trying to get money from billionaires to fund the creation of a 100-year starship. They want these billionaires to give them lots of money so they can build a ship that'll travel for 100 years to get to the closest star.
That's cool.
Would it be filled with rich people?
No,
it like that
the rich people would only finance it.
Oh, okay.
In the hopes of building a self-sustaining crew that could go out there and get to another star.
That would be cool.
They also are talking about who would be volunteer for a mission to Mars that is one way.
Right.
Yeah.
What would Jack? Let me ask you: would you volunteer? You would never qualify, but would you volunteer for a mission to Mars where you would be the first human being over the course of hundreds of millions of years of evolution, if you believe in that, to set foot on another planet, but you couldn't come back?
Right now, probably not. In 15 years, maybe.
Can I ask? Wait, you've got 2 cats now. Is it the cats that are keeping you back?
Yeah, it's the cat
Is that
holding
it?
me back.
Assume they would have room in the budget to take care of the cats.
Oh, okay.
Like they would feed
They
them.
would develop special spacesuits
That
for your cats to go with you.
Or they would just put out. They'd have to develop technology and put out the biggest bowl of food ever. 5 years of food.
A
in your,
solar
in your
array
kitchen.
powers a motor that feeds them.
Would you have constant contact with Earth? Like, would I be able to communicate
Jack,
You
with
could,
people
you'd
back
still
on
like
Earth?
play get multiplayer.
Yeah,
like I said,
like,
What,
make sure
what are you
it's
what are you
Xbox
missing
Live.
here, Jack? What are you keeping up
Your
with?
achievements would update on Xbox Live, but you could not get into a multiplayer game.
Son of a bitch. No, I think it'd be kind of cool. I mean, the trip to Mars is going to be like, what, 5 years? I think is what they said.
Yeah, but it's one way. That's the big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
But when you get there, you've got like 3 arrested women and
Yeah, exactly. And Arnold
All
Schwarzenegger.
the best parts of Total Recall.
and Sharon Stone's waiting for me.
So basically, the trip is 5
Quado.
years, then plus forever
Yeah,
at the end of it. That's the kicker. Gus, you don't have kids. Would you go?
I don't have kids.
I'm saying you don't have
Oh,
kids.
I don't have kids. Would I go? Yeah, sure. Why not? Fuck it. It'd be awesome.
Really?
It'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Would you bring Esther?
why are you trying to start too much shit?
Bernie likes causing problems.
By the way, somebody pointed out to me that we have friends, Griffin. We have a couple that we know that have such old people names. We know a couple named Gus and Esther. I mean, it's like, you guys should be like playing canasta all day, shuffleboard.
How do you know we don't?
You guys gonna fit in right in at the retirement home.
That'd be sweet.
Gus and Esther.
Except you'll be with people with names like Aiden and
Yeah, all the old
Yeah.
when those are old people names, that'll be sad.
So, I guess I want to show you something. You were talking about Google Street View, right?
Yeah.
Jeff sometimes is a little rash with big stuff. He will decide big changes. And he came in and he said, I'm going to buy a house in Marfa, Texas. And I go, you're going to do what? And he
I
goes,
did, you knew about this before I did.
I know. He goes, I found this house. It looks like 2 shipping containers stacked on top of each other.
Nice.
So it's like this art project essentially that you can live in, you know?
It's a gun house.
No, I saw. I was probably the first person he showed it to.
He was
Okay.
down to working
Okay.
on spreadsheets.
You were last, I'm saying.
But maybe that means it wasn't
He was
a real
working on
decision.
straight, like he was actually making plans.
Yeah, like he was ready to email it off to a realtor.
And find out more information. So this is what he found. We'll put a picture of this online.
That looks like something you would live in on Mars.
exactly right.
Bringing it back around.
This is a one-way trip to
But
Marfa.
this
Yeah.
is going to be a vacation home, and he was going to rent it out and make money off of it. That's what he was telling me.
And I realize this is a visual gag. We will put this online. But I thought, Marfa, Texas is in the middle of West Texas. There's nothing out there. Look how green this picture is on the realty side of what this thing looks like. So I said, hey, Jeff, let's go to Google Street View and see what this thing actually looks like. You want to see one of the funniest things you'll ever see in your life? I'm going to walk over there and show this to you.
Okay, yeah, show me.
I never saw the Google Street View version of it, so I'm curious about
Oh,
this
really?
too.
You're the last to know?
I'm
Is
the
that
last
it?
to
Okay,
know
yeah,
on
that's
that
the
one.
house.
Jeff's face melting when I do this. This is the house. This is Google Street View.
What the fuck? Did they Photoshop that in there?
I don't know.
Like, here's
It
some
looks like
trees.
it's in the middle of a parking lot.
Isn't it like surrounded
Here's the
by
house.
trailers?
This is the
with
same
trails?
angle, same shot from Google Street View. It looks like
What the hell?
lush, wonderful terrain to Mad Max set, essentially.
That's funny.
Actually, I think the house might fit in better with the parking lot
Yeah,
scenery, but I don't want to live in Marfa.
it's got a nice overhang of the nothing.
What is Marfa? He said it's a big artist
Oh, okay.
community.
This is actually pretty interesting. And they have mystery lights there.
Yes,
if you're
Marfa
into
lights.
the Marfa lights. I think I've seen them. It was either that or maybe I saw cars at the Border Patrol. But yeah, it's
One or
this,
the other.
Marfa, Texas is this tiny, tiny little town way in West Texas, like by Big Bend, which is like the big kind of like national, or I don't know if it's state or national park. Do you know?
It's a park.
A big like deserty park. Where
It's
people
Big
go.
Bend National Park.
Yeah, I think they filmed Fandango
Chomp,
there.
chomp, chomp,
Am I
chomp.
right? Okay, so like in the 60s or 70s, it was pretty much like a ghost town. Like there was nothing there. Industry was gone. Like it was dying. And this artist named Chinati came to it, and he was like some New York, like famous New York artist, and fell in love with it, and decided that he was going to buy the town, or like buy the old military base that was there, that was like abandoned, and got all of his artist friends to come in, set up studios, and it became this like art hub. And now people fly in from all over. Like we went there we went in the off season, which is kind of dumb because there's really nothing going on there when there's no like festival. So we went and we saw the Marfa lights, and we stayed at this hotel. And one day we went down to the bookstore, which is this, almost feels like it came right out of New York or even like some like nice parts of Austin, just like right in the middle of this tiny little Texas town. So we went to the bookstore, hanging out, looking at books, and all these German people walked in, people from New York, like in this random little town in Texas. Which, the weird thing too, it's like you go out to a restaurant and everyone working there can't afford to eat there. Like people who live there can't afford to live there because like they just have all these people buying summer homes and like spending $70 to $80 on a meal for every meal. So all the people working there have to live, I don't know, way like out in the middle of nowhere.
So people like Jeff ruined the town for the locals.
well,
Yeah, basically.
well, he hasn't bought property, but anyway, it's
Those people are doing
would,
fine.
I would say that. But the art community also saved the town from completely dying out. So I don't know. There's like a give and take there. Like it's becoming this cute little, and a lot of people from Austin are buying places there, and it's starting to look really Austin-y, but it's in this like completely surrounded by nothing.
It's like 7 hours away from Austin
Yeah.
to drive there.
It's an interesting place.
It's northwest, right?
Yeah, it's like out in the
Near
Big Bend
Abilene?
area.
Texas is such a big state. If you're taking a road trip and you hit Texas, watch out.
Yeah.
Because it'll be an entire day of your trip just getting through Texas.
It looks like it's pretty much dead west, like on the same latitude from here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an hour shy of Big Bend.
No,
State /
Texas,
national park.
when I drove to L.A., to and from L.A., Texas is half the trip. Like Austin to El Paso was half the trip.
Yeah, it's depressing. And then a lot of the states that surround, no offense to the states surrounding Texas, but also, never mind. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna-
when I drove,
Hey,
keep going.
there ain't much in Texas, the west side of Texas. There's nothing
I
out
know,
there.
but it takes 8 hours. Like, we're in the middle of Texas. It takes 8 hours in any direction to get out of Texas, and then you're surrounded by, I'm not going to
When I drove
embarrass
up the
myself.
beautiful
when I
lands of
geography.
Louisiana.
when I drove our equipment back from Sacramento when we moved our colo to Austin, the last day, I budgeted the trip. And I was the last day. I was like, oh yeah, I can do Alamogordo to Austin, no problem.
Where's Alamogordo?
New Mexico.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's like an hour maybe north of El Paso. That was a fucking mistake. That was the longest, worst part of the drive.
Jason and I, the first time we went to the Comic-Con in San Diego, we had to drive through West Texas, and we hauled all of our gear out with us, big trailer full of merchandise. And
There's video of that on the bonus disc.
there
right?
is, yeah, on the bonus disc for the box set. It's on there.
The original
And
box set.
I think the bonus disc is
on
in
both,
the
yeah.
is in the remastered box set too.
Well, sorry, that's what I meant.
We didn't-
But the Blood Gulch.
I
box
see what
set.
you're saying. The first 5 seasons box set. We didn't go back and remaster the live footage either. we didn't go out and reshoot all that stuff. But it got so hot out there because Comic-Con's in late July, and it was such a long stretch of nothing. I think we went literally 210 miles between gas stations.
Jesus.
And it was frightening because it was so hot and we were hauling so much weight behind us, and then me and Jason, that we could literally see the gas needle moving. If you looked at the gas needle, you could watch it drop towards E slowly.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's a little frightening. And then you look at on the dashboard, it says the exterior temperature is 108 degrees. It's like, if we run out of gas, we're probably going to die.
Probably.
And that's kind of a lonely feeling.
At least you'll have a U-Haul full of fabulous Rooster Teeth merchandise to die with.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, I saw a video. I was just thinking about it's like being on an island in the middle of a hostile environment. It made me think about this guy who. Have you seen this new sport where they don't surf? They stand up on a surfboard and they paddle. Have you seen this? My wife has tons of gossip magazines around her house, and it seems like every celebrity in the world's doing this.
They stand up and
I
paddle?
think it's called paddle surfing.
Paddle surfing or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This is like taking the fun out of surfing and making it harder.
Well, it's like basically having a rudder.
Oh,
on a
they have
surfboard.
an oar. Okay, I thought you meant like they were paddling with their. Yeah, okay. Go
they
ahead.
have like an oar.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
standing up on a surfboard and paddling with a big long oar. And some guy went out and he saw what he thought was a great white out there, and I thought, man, if that happened to me, I'd be like, thank God that was the day I was in the ocean. I saw a great white. That was the last day I was in the ocean ever again. He goes out the next day and brings a camera on a pole, and sure enough, finds the great white again, and is filming. He's standing on a goddamn surfboard, dude, with a great white underneath him, and he's dropping a pole with a camera on the end into the water and filming the shark. I'm like, you gotta be crazy.
You put a camera in front of a great white? That's fucking crazy. You put a camera in front of Sean Penn, he'll bite you. I wouldn't put a camera in front of a fucking shark.
Man, there's just no way.
Why not at least get into a boat with something a little bit more substance? I mean, right?
Because you're crazy. That's
Yeah.
why. Because the guy's a nut.
Because for fun, he gets on a surfboard with a paddle and goes out into the ocean. We've already established the craziness.
Speaking of the ocean, I saw a documentary, probably the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life. Have you ever seen The Cove?
It won a bunch of Oscars, and I'm not going to watch
Yeah,
it.
I was.
Oh my God.
I was not moved by that. I actually
Really?
hated that documentary.
Really?
Yeah, I felt it was very biased and one-sided
Wait,
What,
was it?
against the dolphins that are getting killed?
against the Japanese people. I mean, who are we to impose our will on them? If they want to eat dolphin, why can't they eat dolphin? Like, if India had a problem with us eating cows and they made a great documentary about it, would we be all boo-hoo cows? They get slaughtered and we eat them. What's
Yeah.
the flip side here?
Well, yeah, there is a little bit of selective compassion.
A lot of it had to do with the
different
fact
animals.
that the
true.
dolphin, the dolphin meat that they're actually eating is full of mercury and is actually poisoning the country.
Yeah,
And they're hiding that from their citizens.
that's true, but that wasn't the focus of the documentary.
well,
that's
that
not
was
what
a-
everyone cries over.
But I mean, they're saying, "Oh, this is something we've done for years." It's like, no, you haven't really done this for years, and they're claiming it's tradition, but it's not actually tradition.
The Japanese have been eating whale and dolphin for over 1,000 years.
But there's a whole bit in the documentary where they're talking to people about this, and they're like, "What are you talking
Yeah,
about?" Like, I've
modern
never heard of
people
this.
in the city don't do that. Modern people living in Tokyo don't do that. But people in the country and who live in coastal areas do and have been for 1,000
Well, and
years.
as far as hiding the harmful things in food. I mean, we did that plenty, you know. Like, I mean, and I was just thinking about this the other day. Mad cow, like you used to hear about it all the time. Did it just go away, or are we just not hearing about it anymore? Do you guys know? Have you heard about mad cow in a while?
Oh no, John Titor went back to his timeline, so I haven't heard about it. That was John Titor's big thing, was mad cow disease or whatever. He called it a different name for it, whatever the protein was.
CJD or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, do people still get mad cow? I mean,
Well, there's also like the bovine growth hormones and things, and girls were getting breasts earlier, and
girls going through puberty at 7.
yeah.
It's crazy. We read that stat, right? It was. I'll have to look it up now, so I don't misquote it. And I'm talking about.
I want to see.
I don't want to talk about girls going through puberty off the cuff.
I want to see what Google search term you used. To look
Yeah, save search on. How does it? Google save search to stun. See what I come up with. All right, girls puberty.
Oh God.
Not a creepy guy. Let me see. Early hormones.
This is for dear FBI. This is for research. Can you add that into your,
I got it. I
your
got
search
it.
term?
Thank God for Google Live search, because that way I don't have to like hit enter. Oh, it's a typo. I didn't mean to type that.
ever since you just mentioned that history, like the Google history thing, I'm so careful about anything I search for. While
Yeah,
logged
you
in.
should be.
Jesus Christ!
Now
man.
imagine somebody takes over, and one of the things I think Firesheep can take over is
Your Google account.
your Google account, and then they just access it. They have access to your Google session. They're looking up your searches.
Man.
If you log in to search, you're a maniac. You're
Yeah.
a maniac.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I can't tell you, man. When I run for office, some point in the future, I'm blaming all the searches from this IP on Gus and Jeff. I guarantee.
I'll take the fall. Fuck it.
But if you're like signed into a Gmail account, though, aren't you logged into
Yeah.
Google?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's why I don't log into Gmail.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And by the way, how many times am I going to have to tell YouTube I don't want to link my goddamn Gmail account to YouTube?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do that every time I log into YouTube? Is that what's going to happen here?
I think so.
All right. American girls, it seems, are growing up quicker. And this is according to, well, this is the Money Times website. I don't know what this is.
It's money, baby.
It was the first one I pulled up. American girls, it seems, are growing up quicker. According to the findings of a study, young American girls are beginning puberty at much younger ages, some as early as 7. The study, conducted by researchers at the Breast Cancer and the Environmental Research Centers, showed that between 2004 and 2006, twice as many Caucasian girls showed sign of breast development at age 7 compared to a decade ago. And then they go through this whole thing, and they're saying it's because one of the things they're blaming is hormones in milk and things like that that we don't realize we're ingesting.
Was it in China where like infant girls were developing breasts already because of the formula? Like the formula had a lot of hormones in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Eesh.
Yeah, didn't they also have another thing where they had made a bunch of formula in China that actually accidentally had poison in it or something like that?
I think that was actual milk. Whoa.
Oh, was it milk?
I thought that wasn't there like a
I
big
think it was a baby formula that was
It was
poisoned.
formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
formula?
And it was a huge deal in
Ridiculous.
in China.
Man.
You know, and people in China, they lose their jobs and go to jail. Unlike in America now, where it's just, you know, they get on TV and nothing seems to happen to people,
Yeah.
except for Randy Moss. Did you hear about what happened to Randy Moss?
No, what
yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
So Randy Moss, who's a receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, they played the New England Patriots.
He was with the Patriots earlier this year, and the Patriots dropped him, and the Vikings picked him up.
And he had a thing where he was fined by the NFL $25,000 for refusing to speak to the press. So he comes out and does his press conference and goes, "Hey, y'all, I was fined $25,000 for not talking to you guys, so I'm going to talk to you, but you're not going to talk to me. I'm going to hold my own press conference, and you can just report on that. I'll ask myself questions, I'll answer them, and that's it." Which is pretty funny, and it seemed like a big FU. But then he did that, and he kind of screwed himself over because he just started talking off the cuff.
Oh, man.
And he essentially said that they'd lost to the Patriots, and all he could do was talk about how great the Patriots were, and how Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, is probably one of the best coaches of all times, and how he was giving his coaches information about what the Patriots would probably do, and they didn't listen to him. And then on game day, his own coaches were saying, "You know, Randy, we should have listened to you. You were right." And he goes, "And I don't want to hear that on game day." You know, and I'm sure that conversation never happened. The coaches came up and said,
You were right.
"Mr.
In the middle
Moss,
of the game,
you were right." Was the NFL coach going to do that? And so he goes on like this long tear. Did you see the press conference,
No, I
Jack?
didn't see it.
So anyway, you can look at it online if you're interested in that. But essentially, he's just talking about how great the Patriots are and insinuating that the Vikings are not. He walked out of the press conference, and the Vikings go, "You're fired. Get out."
The coach waved him. Just dropped him.
Really?
Just dropped him. $6 million contract, $6.9 million or something.
Yeah, they still owe him like 4 more. Like they're gonna pay him $4 million, but he's not on the team anymore.
Fuck off, dude.
Wow.
I love it, man. More stuff like that needs to happen.
But that's
I
not
think.
the worst way to get fired. We still owe you a few million, but you're
But
fired.
who's going to pick him up now? I mean,
No,
he's
you're right.
tainted, you know? Like T.O. had the same sort of situation.
Somebody will pick him up.
Yeah.
Somebody will.
Well, you know, someone's always going to pick up those guys, but still, it's like, you know, you've got that cloud over him now.
Anybody who needs a receiver, essentially.
Yeah, T.O. is still,
Yeah.
still catching footballs. was I want to wrap things up. I don't want to go super long like we did last week. Got a lot of stuff going on here. So I'm wrapping up right now.
I want to mention the Rally to Restore Sanity was awesome out in DC. I went to it. A bunch of fans from the site came out, and we had a big group and went to dinner and stuff. That was very, very cool for all those people to come out, and
Nice.
thank you.
I have updated our events page on the website with preliminary event information for next year.
We have an events page?
I'll put that in the link dump. Yes, we do.
I didn't know that.
And
Have you decided who's going to what yet?
no, I mean it's still so far away, and we have plenty of time to determine who's going to what event.
Griffin,
So check out the event page. I'll put it in the link
you and
dump.
me can go to the one on the moon.
We have 6 events up there right now, but we'll have hopefully some more as time goes on.
Last week on the podcast, I talked about electricity being shocked and how I don't like invisible things that can kill you.
Oh, God.
Several listeners sent me a link to a live leak video
Oh no!
about apparently they use ethanol to fuel race cars,
F1 race cars.
F1 race cars, which apparently burns invisibly.
Yeah.
And there was a pit fire where a bunch of people are on fire and you can't see the flames and they were having trouble
Oh
putting
my
them out.
God.
So that was one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh god, I have to watch that now. Put it in the link dump.
I know, that's why I wanted to mention it here at the
But
end.
one of the good things is it burns cooler than normal fire. So, like,
I'm only burning mildly. Help!
So you live a little bit longer in pain.
I'm getting 2nd degree burns.
but like no one got severely injured because of it. But anyway, it's still freaky as hell, though.
That's sad.
Yeah, with the guys. I mean, it's not overly graphic, I wouldn't say.
No.
And, it's just...
It's old footage.
It's
old
just horrifying.
How do they find it? Did they put like a piece of raw chicken at the end of a stick and they walk behind it and they're like, the chicken's getting cooked. There's fire there.
No, you look for the crowd of people where one dude is waving his arms like a maniac, pointing to himself, going, me, I'm on fire. Oh my God. It's awful.
I love like how the internet's like, no, wait, there's some more things for you to be worried about.
Yeah.
I know. Wait till when did they send Jeff links this week? Saying, it's probably not age. You probably have parasitic tuberculosis.
And you're on invisible fire.
All right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.